Too sweet!
Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find me on Twitter @_JD Sports. You can find our personal Twitters there. Everything else is in the YouTube links below. We're going to start off because we're not an NFL show, but that's mainly what we talk about the most. And
it runs the country, doesn't it?
There's a lot of things going on right now in the rest of the sports world, which we're going to get into the rest of the sports world, but we're going to start off.
Dude, it's been a not hectic. It's been a interesting, little active, more than normal week.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to start off, though. Sunday night and then Monday, Peyton announced that he is retiring. In my eyes, a top 5 quarterback of all time. He's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time. He is the best number quarterback of all time. So, it's a big deal. This is going to be new for the sport. We only have Eli left, and it doesn't look like any upon the horizon soon because none of the grandkids are old enough yet to be getting there. But
as far as you talk about the Manning family,
the Manning family, there's going to be there was a gap between there was a gap between the father and then Peyton and Eli. But so there's going to be another gap here coming. But I hear that is probably in line if you're they're like the Kardashians of the football, I guess, but. In their own classy way.
Don't make that.
They all do say a little crazy things. Peyton's a little over dramatic. No, okay.
Please don't make that comparison.
All right, well we're gonna back.
I hear you, but no, please don't.
People call them the royal family of football.
There we go.
But so, Peyton, he, it's got to be very emotional for him because literally since day one, since he can probably remember. He's just looked forward to the next football game. And as of this season, he won't have a next football game to look forward to. He most likely, and I don't know if he jumps into it this offseason, I would assume gets into the front offices, assuming of the Colts or the Broncos. But I think he's going to take some time off.
Okay, whoop, skirt. Time out.
Him and Elway are tight.
That's cool. I'm cool with that.
Front offices. Not saying he's going to run things like Elway, but I think one day that's his plan.
Don't go to Indianapolis. Don't. No, Jim Irsay, no. Don't get tied up in it.
He loves Indy.
I know he does.
Think about it this way. On March 18th, he is going to have a press conference with the Colts because A, it's March 18th, and B, because he wants to retire as a Colt. He has hospitals in Indianapolis named after him. That's
cool.
It's a different step, it's a different level, it's a different connection and feeling with the fan base, and I think in his he thanked them at his when he was leaving he thanked them for being the quarterback of their team for as long as he was. The connection he has with them, and I know the Broncos and the Broncos fans, and he broke a season record of touchdowns there, so there's always going to be history. He won a Super Bowl, he went to 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos. There's going to be that part of his career, and that part for the Broncos is always going to be in there, and it's always going to be a part of the story. It's going to be connected, but Peyton Manning, at the end of the day, I think, especially in Indianapolis, they feel like he is theirs. And he feels probably deep down inside that he's a Colt for life. He even talked about Johnny Unitas in his press conference because Johnny Unitas was a big influence on him because of the Colts type thing. I personally think that it would be a perfect fit for him. But I understand what you're saying because I'm with you that Jim Irsay is the most unstable. He's up there. He's one of the top 3 most unstable owners.
I know you're going to say Jerry Jones, whatever. Number 1 or number 2, that's fine. I say, okay, for me, did you see the Hall of Fame? The Hall of Fame. Did you see the retirement speech? Did you listen to it at all?
Clips of it, yes.
I actually listened today, when I was at work. I put it on my phone, I was listening to it when I was at work today. It was really good. It was very scripted, obviously, but it was cool. But it was one of the most...
emotional.
That passionate, it was a really good speech. Yes. I was just like, wow, okay, well, that's cool. But as far as what his future has in store for him, everybody's saying front office. People are talking about, he's going to do the John Elway route. He's going to do.
I think that's what he'll do.
I don't want to see it with Jim Irsay just because Jim Irsay's a fuck.
No, I agree. I don't like Jim Irsay.
You can have your whole little fan base. You can feel some type of way about Indianapolis. They can feel some type of way about you. That doesn't mean it's a good fit. Number 1. Number 2, I talked to a Tennessee Titans fan, and he said, and it's been a story for several years, that
Tennessee.
maybe he'll be interested
as well.
And considering their considering the recent years of their acquisitions, quarterback, running back,
he's also from
there's decent defense. Why wouldn't you go into something younger? And you got Indianapolis with Andrew Luck is a huge question mark right now. We don't know what the hell's going to happen with that team. Why not go into a situation where it looks a little more promising right now?
I don't know. I think Luck might look as promising, if not more promising, than Mariota. But that's a different discussion for a different day if you want to have that.
Right, but the team. I mean the team as a whole.
I think the ownership in Tennessee is. I think Tennessee is the worst run franchise in the league right now. So I would disagree. I think Tennessee outside Jacksonville.
No, not the worst franchise in the league right now.
Tennessee before they picked up DeMarco Murray, which we will talk about, had the most cap room. I talk about this consistently.
We did talk about this.
You can't compete in the NFL if you don't hit your salary cap or even go over it like most teams do. Right. They were like almost $100 million under the cap or something like that.
And we talked about it.
The Jaguars are now $190 million under the cap. But I mean, to be almost $100 million under the cap, that's so. How are you going to compete in the NFL? To me, that is making zero effort, which as a fan I wouldn't tolerate, because if you're not making any effort, then that. Yes, at least, listen, the Colts have a horrible owner, and he is unstable, and he's just a rich dude doing rich things, being stupid in the media, getting himself in trouble. What are they gonna? What's he gonna do? You know what I mean? What is the NFL gonna do? Suspend him, but he has to play along because they have to. Like whatever, just ridiculous, stupid.
He's a child,
right? But
I say he's a child. He's a grown ass.
But the one thing I can say, and I agree with that. But the one thing I can say is that as an owner, he is still doing everything for his franchise. Now, not
on paper. Yes,
and that's my point. Is that they're not even doing the things on paper right. So.
I mean, I disagree. I thought that the Colts on paper before the season started was going to make it to the Super Bowl.
And that's my point. So
on paper, yes, they were doing the things.
Right.
But to me, you can't say that the Titans are the worst run organization in the league, because I look at the Browns, really? So you mean to tell me that the Browns are a better organization?
I think the Browns, Jaguars, Titans are literally, you could make an argument for all three of them. You could make an argument for all three of them.
I mean, to me...
the Browns and Jaguars are going to be really close. I think the Titans are in that mix.
Right, okay, I don't disagree. I think they're in that mix.
If they're in the bottom three, though, and that doesn't... To me...
Okay, you were just saying that they are the worst. I don't think that they
personally,
are
right now,
the
I think in 2015 to now going into 2016, I think... Well, today, they picked up DeMarco Murray. But before today, I thought in 2015 to 2016 season, I thought they were the worst run organization in the NFL.
And I understand. Like I said, we
even with the Mariota pickup, the only thing they've done right, I think, in the last 5 years.
We've had this conversation. We said that the fact it's kind of suspicious that they weren't spending money. Obviously, they got the DeMarco situation, which we'll talk to.
Yeah.
We'll talk about. Mm-hmm. But up until the DeMarco situation, they weren't spending that money. And we're like, it's kind of fishy. It's kind of suspicious. What's going on? They're pocketing money. What's going on? But now, I mean. Now they look like a team that's
listen. If they start to go
trying, they're trying more than Jacksonville.
No, but I thought that Jacksonville, for the first time last year, took an actual step forward, like a legitimate, not half Blaine Gabbert step forward. I thought their defense was sort of solid, and they're gonna have to get a little younger to be solid going forward. And but their offense is very young, and the offense put a lot of points up and a lot of yards up in a league where it's set up for you to do that. So they are doing the right things, and I think as long as they figure it out on defense, they're going to be okay. But they at least took the right steps forward. Now they're $190 million under the cap, so they're gonna have to spend money, or else I'm gonna start again. We have them as a bottom three franchise. I'm not saying they took a step out of those bottom three, but I think they took, for the first time in my eyes, something I can legitimately say they can build off of. And I'm not saying the Titans can't, because as you said, DeMarco coming to them, and I said that
young quarterback,
and I said about Mariota. So yes, again, I think that I could put them in the realm of maybe Jacksonville and maybe possibly taking that step forward. Look at Oakland 5 years ago. Everyone was saying one of the worst franchises in the league. I think they've now. You've
been on that bandwagon.
They're not in the bottom three at the moment. They're not in the bottom three at the moment, right?
So what are they, number 4, number 5?
No, I think no. I listen.
Yes. Who's above them?
I don't know.
Yeah,
if you want to play this game, we should actually. We have the off season.
Where is Peyton Manning? Okay, well, let's play. We should. I wish I had a board right here. We could have Peyton Manning's face.
The Los Angeles Rams. Are they in that conversation?
So realistically, if he does get a front office job, which we were jumping so forward with this situation right now. We're not even talking about.
No, it was good though.
No, I mean it's cool because I don't want to talk
about.
That
made that last show really good. I thought that made the last show really
but
good.
I mean most people will be talking about how great he is or where does he rank, and I don't want to have the conversation because I don't fucking know. Where does he rank all the time? I don't fucking know.
As I said, to me, he's in the top 5 somewhere. Probably
he's top somewhere. I don't know. I don't like having greatest.
Montana and Brady are 1 and 2 to me, and you can flip flop them all day. And then after that, it's
Guess what?
Guess what?
I don't like having the greatest quarterback conversation because one, there's so many that I didn't get to see enough of, and that I respect enough to not say that Peyton because he's from my generation he's number one. No,
I think it's numbers.
The fact that I think
people say I don't think he's the greatest of all time.
No, he's in the conversation, but he's not.
There's a tier. There's a tier of players in there, and
we've had this conversation. We don't even think that he's the greatest of our generation, which would be number one.
Tom Brady.
Exactly, Tom Brady, obviously. So
the GOAT.
The fact that we're saying that he's the greatest of our generation,
the greatest of all time to me.
Anyway, so fuck all his football stuff right now. We already praised him.
Yeah.
We both said it was the right thing to do to retire.
Yeah.
Go out on the high note, take the Elway, take the Ray Lewis approach. So realistically, of those, let's say those three teams, front office wise, what do you think makes the most sense? Realistically, now when I say that, mind you, in Indianapolis, you got that fan base, but you also have Jim Mercer to deal with. Number two, you got Tennessee, which
my reservation on that.
Right, but I would say that Tennessee,
they can build.
Yes, absolutely. And then what was number three?
Denver.
Okay, well, I guess it was 4 because I was thinking of Jacksonville, but you're not saying Jacksonville?
Why would you say Jacksonville for him?
I don't know. I thought you said Jacksonville.
No. New Orleans would be the only.
Okay, so number 3.
New Orleans would be a team that I would say because he's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so number 3, let's say New Orleans.
I don't think that's a shot. I think it's a long shot. I'm just saying if we're making connections like Tennessee,
because he's from there, his dad's got history.
The only reason they're saying Tennessee is because he played football at Tennessee. Do you know what I mean? At the University of Tennessee. That's the only reason they're saying Tennessee. So if we're gonna say that,
apparently doesn't he have a house out there? Somebody was telling me that.
Yeah, because he has a house in Knoxville.
Okay, well, why not? It's right there.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. That's what I'm saying. But if we're gonna start making connections, let's go. Because his dad lives down in Louisiana still. So
right. Okay. So we got Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. We got Tennessee. We got
New Orleans and Denver.
New Orleans, Denver.
And he would have to be under Elway if he went to Denver. That would be the issue there. He would never be able to oversee Elway in the next 5 or 10 years.
That's too much.
But he could learn. He could learn and then go anywhere in the league. That could be his foot into the door. Learn under Elway for a while. I understand what you're saying, but Elway learned under a couple people for 2 or 3 years before he took over completely. Right. Peyton could do that for a couple years and then take over. Who knows what Peyton really wants to do though? I mean, I don't think he wants to get away from the game. I think that's why everyone speculates this, just like Elway. But like, we're saying all this. What if what if Peyton just takes a step back and just doesn't? You know what I mean? He runs his Anheuser-Busch brewery. He runs his Papa John's. He gets his money.
I don't know. I just don't. I think that's going to happen for the first year. And
then you think he's just going to get right back into it?
Yes. I think
so too. Because Larry Bird, guys like that. There's just people.
He loves the game too much.
Michael Jordan couldn't get away from it. There's just people who.
Dude, his retirement speech where he says, "God bless football."
Yeah, that's all he does. That's all he knows. That's all he does. And
he's going to take a year off. I would guarantee that. He's going to. He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, he has to.
But next year, maybe 2 years tops, he will be back. So realistically, again, who do you think he would go with out of those 4 teams? Because to me, Tennessee is a no-brainer.
I think Denver to get his foot in the door, just because I think it's the most stable franchise. I think he still has the most connection. He'd still be connected with the players. Even after this season, there would still be, hopefully, for them, in their eyes, guys like Brock Osweiler and Von Miller. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, but if there's still people in that locker room that were on the Super Bowl team, and he goes in there as like a player personnel guy under Elway, and then that gives him the foot in the door to be not just secluded to a Tennessee or Indianapolis or New Orleans. That gives him the foot in the door to basically go wherever he would want to go. As long as he proves himself underneath Elway and Elway's able to, hand him off somewhere and give the blessing, I would say, I guess. But
man, I wish we could kind of get this happy medium because I feel like the best team scenario long term would be Tennessee, in my opinion.
Well, for him
but
to
the
rebuild,
best experience situation would be
Denver. But for him to rebuild and prove himself the way Elway did, Tennessee would be great to go. But Elway stepped into Denver because he was in Denver before, and Elway stepped in there under stable people, under people who knew what they were doing. You look at Tennessee.
Going to Indianapolis.
I'm saying, Indianapolis is football
They're
well
not stable.
run.
They're not stable.
I think no, and that's why I said I would go to Denver before them. If Luck didn't get hurt this year, they still make the playoffs, and they are the model of consistency in that division.
Right.
I'm not saying I agree with you because Irsay is he's the most unstable owner in the entire NFL.
Oh, you actually said that.
But underneath,
I'm actually impressed that you said that.
Yes, it's crazy. It's not even close.
Thank you. Holy shit, Dwight, save that clip. I've been waiting all year for you to say that because when I said it, you were like, oh, Jerry Jones.
I like the joke.
Well, obviously, but
Jerry Jones is my favorite owner.
I say the same thing. Like he is a fuck.
I'm hoping his son gives up on trying to help Jerry before Jerry passes it off. Well, yeah, but he's doing his best to make it better.
Jerry Jones and fucking his son is like Vince McMahon and his son. I'm just saying.
Here comes the money.
I wish it was like that.
Anyway.
I'm like, sign him up, Jerry. Vince, sit the fuck down. Jerry, sit the fuck down. Here comes the money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the little.
But the football wise of it, the people up who run the football operations of it, who do the hiring, who do the player personnel scouts, who do the draft picks, who do that kind of stuff, they are obviously doing something right. And I know they fell into Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. And Peyton Manning, since his rookie year, 1998, can you imagine? He hasn't been on a losing team since his rookie year.
That's incredible.
All by himself, basically. You know, I mean, you can't not all by himself, but he has been the guy who anchored them over that entire time. And Andrew Luck has the potential to go on a career and do that. You know, now make this the last time he ever has a losing season.
I think it's time after this season. Oh, granted he was hurt, but at the same time, I think it's time to get off the high of Andrew Luck. I'm not saying you per se or the show or us in general, but I think the mystique of Andrew Luck, it's time to moonwalk off that a little bit.
No, I think him as a player, he's
a little bit.
He's a top 3 or 4 quarterback right now, but I think that the team around him, oh my god, his talent, it's off the charts. He can make any pass. He can make any pass, and he can run for any 10 yards. I mean, he's the absolute outside of Cam. He's more of an ultimate weapon in my eyes than Cam because he can pass a little better than Cam. Actually, probably a lot better. He probably makes better reads as well.
I'm glad you said a lot better
overall because but that's my point is that I mean he is the best of both worlds. Now he's not going to run like Cam. Cam without 50-yard dash. Cam's running over the 50 before he probably gets to the 40, 45. But at the same time, he'll get you that 10-50. He will outrun a defensive end or a defensive tackle and even most linebackers in the league. And he can probably run over a couple corners and safety. So
right.
I look at it as like he is. I mean, in my eyes, if there was a draft going on right now, I'm taking Andrew Luck number 1. Yeah, he has the brightest future in my eyes in the NFL.
I can't argue that. I won't argue that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
James Harden would be right behind him, and Cam.
Of course he would. Are you sure Johnny is in that conversation?
Oh.
He would be, but he's a fuck.
I mean,
he got off that? Did you get off that yet? Are you off of it yet?
Oh, well, listen, if he beat his girl and he's doing all these drugs and doing what...
I'm not even talking about that. I mean, football-wise. No, I'm talking about straight on the field.
He had a great four... He plays for the Browns, man.
Don't blame the Browns. Don't blame the Browns because he sucks.
He didn't have bad play, though. That's my point, is he actually played pretty well. Especially, he had them in all 4 games and he won 2 of them. They didn't lose. They were the 4 best games of the Browns season. They were the 4 best games.
This is my fault. You know what?
Outside of McCown getting his head blown off in 1 game.
You know what? To the people that are watching us right now, I apologize. I subjected us to this fucking conversation right now. We have an entire offseason talk about this fuckery. But right now, Peyton Manning, hell of a career. Salute to you, brother.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, thank you for the memories.
I'm glad he walked out.
It was amazing to watch him. Yeah, I agree with that. And it was amazing to watch him outside of this year. Everything Absolutely. He did throughout his career, like just the amount of precision and how fast he was getting the ball out all career, and just how he was audibling at the line all the time. Just everything. Omaha. Just the whole his entire career was just it's insane. It was insane, and I mean, people are treating it like a legacy or whatever. He's gonna be in 5 years. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame, and that class.
He's first ballot.
Yeah, I mean that class could be crazy, but he is going to. His retirement speech, his Hall of Fame speech is going to be...
Dude,
yeah,
his retirement speech was
I know, yeah.
Incredible.
I'll probably look it up at some point.
We should.
But good for him.
What's next?
The Eagles? I mean, making some moves, trading people away. Not getting a lot in return, at least for 1 deal. The other deal probably will come out later in the week after the show, after we do this show. As of right now, the Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso to the Dolphins they're trading their 13th and getting the 8th overall pick, and then they're getting a 4th round pick, and both contracts are gone. So Howie Roseman, I said a couple weeks ago, and they traded DeMarco to Tennessee, which we'll talk about. Not sure what they're getting back in return for that. Just probably draft picks, though, from everything that I hear. But
yeah, apparently it's draft talk.
But
I said
last week or the week before on the show about how...
Go ahead, damage control is.
I didn't know
damage control
if they were going to take the hit in 2017 or if they were going to try to fix this in free agency, especially after the sign of Bradford. I didn't know what was going on. What they did in this situation, at least in Howie Roseman's eyes, and I'm not a huge supporter of Howie Roseman, but this is what he does. He's a contract guy. He's a salary guy. He's a, they call him a salary cap expert or whatever it is. He got all the dead money, quote unquote, off the books. He got 27%. Well, no, because what they're saying is the biggest piece of, if you look at it as a pie chart, right, the biggest piece of the pie was DeMarco Murray and Byron Maxwell in 2017. You're not going to be able to sign big free agents. And honestly, you look at those top teams, you look at the Patriots and the Steelers, those teams that are always in it, there's no two players holding that much percentage of the pie money. You know what I mean? So that's why
they made that fucking decision, okay.
Well, yes, and Howie Roseman is trying to say this is the Chip Kelly decision. I'm going to come in here and fix it.
Please.
Again,
please.
I'm not sitting here. I'm just telling you what is coming from you know what I mean, their angle.
You know what?
I like DeMarco. I would like to see what he was going to do, and I thought if you're going to get rid of him anyways, and you're going to get rid of his contract, I know it's harder to sell his contract the year before. You know what I mean? Goes, especially if it has a good year, but at the same time, I thought he would have been valuable at least to see what happens in Peter's system. Him and Bradford wanted to play together last year. What would be the difference? Yeah, absolutely. But in their eyes, that's what. But I said it before. If they did that,
so do you agree or completely disagree with what they did? As far as let's focus right now specifically with DeMarco. Would you have kept him?
Would have I kept him?
Yes.
If I could have found somebody to take the contract off your hands, in the Eagles, if the Eagles truly...
I'm not talking numbers. I'm not talking money. I'm talking as
I'm asking
you as a fan. Would you have kept DeMarco Murray? Would he have been a productive member of your team? In your eyes, would you have kept him because he was a potentially productive member of your fucking team?
If it's legitimately going to hurt the Eagles the year
after... Stop looking at the money. Stop looking at the money right now. You're not an owner. You have no stake in this. You have no stock in this. I'm asking you as a fan. Yes. Is that smart to keep DeMarco?
I don't look at Notre Dame in a 12-month cycle. I look at them in a 4-year span because you have to look at what they're doing in the future. You have to set yourself up over. Do you want to win one championship or multiple championships?
I'm trying to. I was with you but yeah, you
know what I'm saying? Do you want to win one? I look at you have to. I follow the money too. Okay. I follow the money side of it too much to just separate myself.
But you can do it for 5 minutes. Would you or would you not? If this was Madden NFL and you had an option of keeping or getting rid of him, would you have kept him from a football perspective? Forget the money. I'm asking from strictly a football perspective. Would you have kept DeMarco Murray? It's a very simple question.
Well, his talents are amazing. If you have an opportunity to keep him, you're going to keep him.
Well, what an answer. So it's simple.
But as I said, in their eyes, they don't feel like they had the opportunity. They felt like it was going to hurt them long term.
We're not ESPN. We're not Fox Sports. We're not broadcasting the news.
I'm
asking you what your opinion is.
I would like to see him in the Peterson offense with Bradford. I said that before.
So that is your opinion that you would have kept him. That's my question.
Yeah, but it's not that bad that they got rid of him because of the other side of it. I would rather
ignore the money.
I can't ignore the. Why would you ignore the money? You know what happens when you ignore the money? You go 500 since 1997, Dallas Cowboys. That's what happens, Jerry Jones, when you ignore the salary cap. That's exactly what happens.
No.
2 years from now, they're going to have a huge issue. 2017, the Cowboys are going to have an issue. They're not going to be able to pay their entire offensive line.
I love how we turn this into a Cowboys conversation.
But no, here's a great example. The Seahawks.
No, ignore
2 years from now, the Seahawks have so much dead money on it. They're paying 3 players 37%.
We're not a sports broadcasting reporting fucking show. We are an opinionated show, and I'm asking your opinion. Fuck the money. Obviously, do you have stock invested in the Philadelphia Eagles? Go ahead, I'll wait.
My heart.
Do you have my
heart?
Are you invested in it financially?
No.
I didn't think so. I'm asking you.
But if I bleed green.
Oh my God, I can't even get an objective. This is why I can't stand Philadelphia fans.
But I'm the only one on the side of.
I'm the only one from the side of fuck the money. You're not invested financially. I'm asking you, would you or would you not keep DeMarco Murray from a pure football perspective? That's a very simple thing to answer. Fuck the money. Pretend he was free. Would you keep him?
Well, if he was free, yeah, keep him every day.
Oh my fucking God! Of course, I can't deal with you. Okay, so skirt.
If a candy bar's free, I'm keeping it.
I can't stand you, Philadelphia fans. I can't stand y'all. Yes, you can separate.
I don't separate the Cavaliers. I have nothing invested at all in the Cavaliers. I don't have anything invested in the Timberwolves. I look at their team and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they're doing something right now.
The money. Here comes the money.
You have to look. I like it. But you have to look at the trends and the cycles and the teams.
No, fucking A, dude. Oh my god.
That's what I do. This is what I do. This is why I like doing it. This is why I follow it.
There's no reason.
That to me is more fun than just sitting down. Because
that's not fun. To me, that's boring. That's statistical shit. That's stuff that you have no.
It's a whole different side of viewing it. That's how I follow it. But that's how I follow it.
Yeah, if you own the fucking team, which you don't, I'm asking you. As a fan, ignore the fucking money. Very fucking simple. You have DeMarco Murray.
Keep it DeMarco Murray, absolutely. But why
did that take 10 minutes to get an answer?
But if you look at the side of it, why didn't Dallas keep DeMarco Murray? Because of the money. So it's not that simple. Like, it's not that simple. Why didn't Dallas keep DeMarco Murray? Because of what?
Because we didn't want to spend the money.
Okay,
and then we also.
But that's my whole point.
We could afford him though. You guys could have, and you didn't keep him.
That's the issue. Is that 2 years from now
we decided to go with Des Bryant instead of
the Dallas Cowboys made a great decision by not handcuffing themselves financially by letting
go. We could afford him.
And that's my point. And the Eagles couldn't afford him. In 2017.
Yes, you did. If Chip Kelly would have continued to be your coach, you mean to tell me DeMarco, granted he wasn't happy there, which is what I've been saying, number one. You mean to tell me DeMarco Murray would have wanted to stay there?
I don't know if DeMarco Murray wanted to stay there. My point is in 2017.
Could you have afforded him?
No, because...
Well, then why the fuck did you sign him? When you only had 1 year? You could afford it for 1 year?
No, they could afford it for 2 years. The issue was 2017 they were going to take way too much of a cap hit on him. And it would have made the Eagles, with or without Chip Kelly, with or without DeMarco Murray, it would have made the Eagles very bad in 2017. I said that 2 weeks ago on the show, though. Where was this 2 weeks ago? Where was this argument? I said it 2 weeks ago. 2017 is going to be a huge issue for the Eagles. I said it 2 weeks ago because of the Marshall contract and because of the DeMarco Murray contract. And what did? They got rid of both of them, and then they threw Kiko Alonso in there, which every Eagles fan... I don't know, because I'm guessing the Dolphins probably wanted for something this week.
Because they're not a bunch of fucks, and the Eagles were like, we're a bunch of fucks.
I think he's worth more than a fourth-round pick, but at the same time, he got injured 2 years in a row, and unfortunately, that's the NFL today. But the Eagles fans today, I was reading all over Twitter, people were all going off about how, they're only getting a fourth-round pick, this, that, and the next thing, going on about Kiko Alonso, and I was like...
But he's worth a lot more than that.
Hold on. And I agree with that, too. I think that he's more talented than that. But all I heard was when Chip Kelly was there, part of the reasoning everyone was excited that Chip Kelly was going is because he brought in bums like Kiko Alonso, injury-prone players like Kiko Alonso.
No, I disagree.
And then today,
I disagree.
I completely disagree with you. But then today, I'm reading the Eagles fan base saying the exact opposite thing. I went off on Twitter about it because, I was defending Kiko Alonso the entire time. Now he's hurt. He got hurt, and I don't like that he was injury-prone twice in a row. But he had an amazing talent. He had an amazing rookie year, and he looked good when he was healthy in the Philadelphia Eagles. They have too many linebackers, and they switched defense, and I guess that's why they did it. But at the same time, there was other guys they could have gotten rid of.
Maybe you see something a little different than I do, because you're more invested in the fan base side.
Yeah.
But from everything that I've seen, from my perspective, I will tell you that, and I say every Eagles fan, but from my perspective, from what I've seen, every Eagles fan was at least invested in, not necessarily DeMarco Murray, because
I agree with that.
From the start.
Yeah.
But I feel like every Eagles fan, for the most part, was invested in Kiko. That's all I heard. That's all I heard from you, frankly.
Yeah, I know. I like Kiko. I like Kiko. I think he's very talented.
So why do you get rid of a talent like that? Because to me, from my perspective, okay.
This part of it makes me angry, but I'll tell you.
2 parts. One, I think it's pay that the Eagles are doing this because they're like, well, that's the Chip regime, and it's all Chip's fault that we weren't great. So we're just going to get rid of.
He's an Oregon Duck, and he's a Chip player. Listen.
So we're going to get rid of all of his players, even if they're good or not. So we're going to get rid of a Kiko.
No, I think the reason. Listen, I think
we're going to get rid of this. The one-handed interception
I agree.
End zone. We're gonna get rid of that.
I think that's ridiculous because of their mind. I don't like the fact that they're doing it because of the Chip Kelly thing. Because to me, I'm with you. That is petty. That is ridiculous.
And
that's Howie Roseman trying to stick it to him like, haha, I won.
See this?
Blah blah blah. But I look at
it on a rug.
But I look at it this way.
Chip Kelly out the door. After what?
The
2
way
years?
the way they're justifying 3 years, but the way they're justifying it, and the way they're going to justify it to the fan base is that They have so many linebackers.
We got money in the future, 2 years from now.
Hicks is really good. Well, no.
So stick around for 2 years. So stick around for 2 years.
No, it's not going to be a 2-year thing now. That's what I was saying to you 2 weeks ago. So what they did by getting those numbers off the books is they didn't just get them off the books for 2 years from now. They got them off the books for this year as well. So now they have a little bit of money spent in free agency. They went after the Bills linebacker. But no. Here's what they're going to do. Instead of paying...
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Instead of paying $10 to $12 million for guys like Byron Maxwell, they paid $6 million for a cornerback today. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to go for the second-level guys. They're going to try to build through the draft and through younger talent.
I'll give you Byron Maxwell because, I said y'all paid for him from the gate.
I thought it was way too much as well.
I will be...
I told you he'd never live that contract.
I'm kind of on the fence with the DeMarco situation because I knew he wasn't happy there. I felt he wasn't happy there. Yeah. But the Kiko situation was fuck with me. But it really bothers me because look at our division, dude. And I say ours because I'm a Cowboys fan. I say look at our division.
That's what I'm saying.
Why wouldn't you keep at least Kiko? Like, if you would have got rid of Byron Maxwell and DeMarco Murray, I'd be like, okay, well... Fair enough, but you got. Why would you get rid of?
I'm not defending them trading Kiko because
who's left?
Well, no. Who's
you have a quarterback that's not somebody that can be reliable.
Their linebacker core is very deep and very
young. Yeah, but very young.
They're very talented.
Very
talented.
That's cool. But why would you not keep Kiko Alonso?
I don't think you can have enough linebackers. I don't disagree with you. The reason that they got rid of him, in my eyes, was solely because of the chip thing. I wish they would have kept Kiko and they could have gotten rid of somebody else.
And if that's the reason, that's really petty, and that's not looking... To me, that's not looking at the fan base to say, like this is for you guys.
I agree with that, but they feel...
We're giving up for a year.
110%. I think,
and to me, it's...
I don't think that they're giving up for a year. I think that
they're giving up for at least 3 years from what you just said, because for 2 years you got...
No. What they did was take money off the books. That means they have money to spend in free agency over the next year, the next 2 years, and start to build forward. That was my whole point. That's the whole circle.
But guess what? The circle of life.
They set themselves up in a better position, money-wise.
Jacksonville and Tennessee both have money. That doesn't mean they're going to get anybody. Who is in Philadelphia right now where people are like, I want to play with him?
Well, I agree with that, but at least...
Because your quarterback situation in 3 years, he's going to be gone.
The Eagles, you can give me this, the Eagles have at least proven that they will overpay people and spend that money that when they have it. So,
and you finally got rid of them.
If not this free agents offseason, but they did it before Chip Kelly was there as well. So if not this free agent season, I think next free agent season, at some point they're going to start spending that money that they just got off the books, but they're going to try to do it with more players and more value instead of investing it in 2 players. Do you know what I mean? They invested 20% in 2 players. They've invested almost 26% into 2 players. In their mind, if they can invest that into 4 players, it's more valuable. When he was signed, what did I tell you? When DeMarco Murray was signed, I thought the only reason they did it and they overpaid to just make a point.
Dallas.
And that makes me so angry because then it just turns out to just be a whole complete issue across the board, and it turns out to be a complete failure.
They look like they're fucks. They were fucks for that, and to me, in my eyes, right now today, they look like a bunch of fucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that was but this is them framing Chip Kelly, putting it all on Chip Kelly. Not framing, but they're putting it all on Chip Kelly.
So we're going to write off the year to prove that Chip was the fuck.
I don't think they're writing off this year. They're trying.
Oh God, yes they are. We have a whole offseason talk about that.
I have no clue what they're going to do in free agency. They have to figure out wide receiver situation. They have to make their offensive line better. But
we can talk about this.
They keep signing their defensive guys to long-term contracts.
They don't have a wide receiver.
No, they don't have a running back. Line.
They just got
the
best
They have Matthews.
They don't have a quarterback.
They have Matthews and Sproles. I think they're good. I think they're all right at running back. They're going to try to sign Chase Daniels as a backup, who was the backup in Kansas City behind Alex Smith. So somebody was in there with the system.
Okay, well.
No, he's not going to compete with Sam Bradford, I don't think. I think Sam Bradford has too much talent to compete with anybody in a... I think over a period of time, if he doesn't play well, they can pull him. But I think going into the season, it's his job.
Realistically, I understand that this is a rhetorical question, talking to an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Do you guys... Can you at least be the number 2 seed? Number 2 seed. Can you at least be the number 2 team in the conference? In the division, I should say. Can you at least be the number 2 team in the division?
Can they be the number 2 team?
In the division.
Yeah, but that's a tough fight because they're going to have to fight off Dallas and Washington.
What's the next topic?
They're going to have to fight off Dallas and Washington, and the issue with that is going to be, what is Washington defense going to do? Are they going to show up? Are they going to have the games that they kind of had last year? And they're going to need Kirk Cousins to pull through, earn all that money. We'll see. And the Eagles have an entire offseason with now a lot more money because they got those off the books to do something. I don't know if they make big splashes. Who knows with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Damage control.
Maybe.
Here comes the money.
Now they have a lot of it. You want to talk about Marvin Harrison?
Anything but the fucking Eagles right now.
Well, you said something earlier about Marvin Harrison. Now,
who?
Marvin Harrison?
Who's that? That dude that Peyton used to go to?
Oh, you know what?
What? Demarcus? Oh, wait, wasn't it Demarcus Thomas?
Reggie Wayne? You know who would have been a really good tandem together?
I said Taron. I fucked that up. Vernon Davis?
Austin Collie.
Shit.
That's the Taz. That's the Taz of references.
You know, so, why are we disrespecting Marvin Lewis?
Okay, but
Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Harrison, who was really good. But you know who would have been a little better with Peyton Manning? Oh. Did we just go there?
I mean, fucking Marvin went there.
Is he gonna tell us to F off too?
He's gonna wear a jacket and do it.
So what did he say about T.O. now? You were telling me about this earlier.
God, dude, I don't understand. So apparently Marvin Harrison, which, I mean, with all due respect,
I mean, Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. Clearly, first ballot. Was it first ballot or was it second?
I don't know, but...
I got maybe third. I mean, he's cool. Anyway, so Marvin Harrison last week, he came out at Terrell Owens for God knows what reason, because nobody seems to know what the reason is. From every reporter that I've listened to, everything that I've looked into, nobody seems to understand why Marvin's coming at TL. Basically what he said was, you know, I'm paraphrasing, I've earned this spot.
Yeah.
I got my jacket, you know, if you don't get yours, then, you know, whatever, fuck you, basically. Yeah. You know, I deserve to be here, and if you get there, cool. If you don't, well, it sucks to be you. I'm paraphrasing, but basically he was saying he came at TL
kind of an ignorant way.
Because he... Okay, so the immediate question is, where the fuck did this come from? Because nobody seems to know.
He must have been angry at T.O. for something.
And from, like I said, like, everybody is saying that T.O., and I've never seen it, I've looked into it, T.O. has never said anything specifically about Marvin Harrison, about him getting into the Hall of Fame.
Nothing that I know.
Everything that T.O. has said about the Hall of Fame has been about, you know...
How he wanted to make it.
He felt like he was shafted, and that he should have got first ballot, and I agree with that. Absolutely. Forget his fucking drama and shit.
Off the field, right.
On the field, he's first ballot, in my opinion, and I feel like he got snubbed.
I agree.
Because of who he is as a person. And that's just the way that the fucking writers are.
Yeah.
So apparently Marvin took that and took it as an insult to what he accomplished. Now, mind you, this motherfucker has been quiet his entire career, never had an opinion on anything, and all of a sudden it's taking what T.O. said and flipped it into being an insult about Marvin Harrison getting in the Hall of Fame. And Marvin Harrison said, well, my jacket is gold. You know, you might not get one. And
right. He's going to get one. He's going to get one. He will get one.
What? Marvin Harrison, with all due respect, you got your... Does he have a ring?
Yeah, he got one with Peyton.
Right, you're right. You got your ring. You're in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying you don't deserve to be there over T.O. I disagree, but, you know, I think you deserve to be there.
There's a place for you in Canton.
Right. Well, everybody fucking gets in Canton nowadays, but I'm just saying. But why are you coming at T.O.? What is the purpose? Because from everything that we've seen, there's no reason. He just, like, he feels like T.O. was insulting him, but he wasn't. He was just saying in general that he felt snubbed, and I agree with him, but he wasn't saying that those that got in the Hall of Fame did deserve it.
Right.
He didn't say that at all. So, Marvin Harrison, shut the hell up. You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame over T.O. I disagree with that, but there's no reason to come at T.O.
Yeah, you told me earlier.
You're both Hall of Famers.
Maybe it's some kind of grudge from back when they were, you know, younger, or
it would have to be.
Maybe T.O. would have said something to him on the field, or, you know, maybe offhanded T.O. said something in somewhere. I don't know. I'm with you. It's very odd that he just kind of comes out of nowhere and says that.
It was very left field.
Especially because he wasn't a talker in his career.
No, exactly.
It's very, it's interesting.
And that's why it makes it seem like T.O. might have said something at some point.
Absolutely.
It could have been years ago.
On the field while they were, you know, warming up, T.O. saying, "Oh, I'm being there before you," or you
and
know,
who's to say that T.O. wouldn't do that?
Yeah,
obviously.
T.O.
Right, and you know what? You know it is what it is. Yeah. But at the same time, but you've been quiet all this time, and now you want to take shots at somebody because you got in and he didn't. Well, newsflash, bro, he got in, and 10 years from now, nobody's gonna be talking about you.
Yeah.
But people will be talking about T.O. I'm just saying.
I completely agree. So
shut up, Marvin Harrison. Take your little fucking Hall of Fame induction. Take it, accept it, be happy. But don't be petty. Don't be a fucking come at T.O. for no reason when he's more legendary and more noteworthy than you ever would be, even though you got a Super Bowl.
More people are going to be talking about T.O.'s enshrinement than
people talk about Randy Moss. Well, yeah, Randy Moss, but more people talk about Chris Carter. He didn't get a ring either. Nobody talks about Marvin Harrison.
Right, I agree.
I'm not saying, like I said,
he wasn't as dynamic.
He deserves to get in the Hall of Fame.
The reason he was in is because of who he probably played with for the most part. Not saying he wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer somewhere else, but
the reason why he's in first ballot is because he was
Well, maybe not first ballot, but the reason he's in for whatever.
It's the same reason we had that conversation about Cam Newton getting in first ballot or not.
Yeah. Well, that's why T.O. didn't get in? Yeah, I completely agree. So, Marvin Harrison, the team he beat in that Super Bowl, he was on the Colts, the team they beat was the Bears. That was coached by Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith has done something interesting in the last week.
Here comes the money. Dude, I'm making that hard song this week. I'm just saying, here comes the money.
Now, Bomani Jones of ESPN said, and this was actually a really good way of putting it. He said that
you always quote him.
Because I like what he has to say a lot. He said the Tampa Bay Bucks are gonna have to pay Lovie Smith $4 million for the next 2 years, no matter what, right? He said he would rather get paid $4 million for the next 2 years to sit at home than get paid $4 million for the next 2 years and other money to go coach Illinois. I mean,
well, okay. I thought you were gonna say something else. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Why?
You don't need money.
You know what? No, because you know what? From what I heard, but he's going to get that Tampa Bay check on top of what he is.
Yes, he is.
So why not? I feel like,
Why are you going to go back to coaching? He hasn't been coaching.
Especially Illinois.
He hasn't been coaching since like the mid-90s, if I'm not mistaken. In college coaching.
Right. Since
like the mid-90s, and he wasn't even a head coach then.
Because you know what?
He's going to have to go recruit, which is really hard to do, especially in 2016.
Two things. I have two things to say about this. And it's not what you probably think it is, but... And it kind of contradict each other, but it's just the two thoughts that I have about Lovie Smith. One, I think he's one of the most overrated coaches in the league.
Really?
Yeah, I mean...
That's fine.
He got to one Super Bowl, fair enough, but... And, I mean, he did his thing for a year in Tampa.
Rex Grossman was his quarterback for that Super Bowl, by the way.
I still think he's kind of...
Just throwing that out there.
I don't
disagree. An injured Rex Grossman.
And then he coached the Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, which contradicts that, me saying he's overrated, is nobody was trying to give him a gig in the NFL.
Right, I
he can't be an assistant.
He might not want to be an assistant. He might not want to be an assistant. That would be his own ego. I'm with you.
He can't get coaching.
He got fired from the Bears after a 10-win season.
And you just said he took Jay Cutler to the Super Bowl.
Rex Grossman.
Even worse.
He took an injured Rex Grossman.
He took Rex Grossman to a Super Bowl, and then he just coached the Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
This year.
Yes.
He can't get an interview? I'm just saying.
I know where you're going with that, and I completely agree. My other thought is...
I see no changes. So at this point, here comes the money.
If he's going to Illinois, though, right? If you're going to make the decision to go back to college, why is Illinois the place that he got a job at? I'm just, and I know you don't follow college football. Let me tell you about Illinois since...
I know they're a bunch of fucks.
Since about like 1980 something. I think they've had 6 seasons with 8 wins or more.
Is that when Michael Jackson was still black?
Like early 1980s. Early 1980s. 6. Listen. But so Lovie Smith goes to a team that literally since the early 80s has only had 6 8-win seasons or more. There's 12 games in a season. Yeah, they're talking 6. I mean, they haven't had a good football team in about, maybe 10 years, and that was only a 2 or 3 year blip, and that wasn't even that great. I think that was only 2 or 3 8-win seasons in that era. Juice Williams was their quarterback at the time. So I mean, it's not like the things were on the uprise for them. I'm very intrigued on why Lovie Smith picked there and why he went back to college.
You know why he went there? I mean, I was listening to Mike Wilbon from PTI.
I know what you're about to say, yeah. I didn't hear this, but I know where you're going.
Because he has such a following, and the fans in Chicago absolutely love him. So
I didn't think about that.
This is what Mike...
I was thinking the other end. You said about Illinois having their issues. Do you know about their girls basketball team?
No.
They're going through some race issues right now with the athletic director. No, so
so they hire a black coach.
Let's follow this back. Let me reverse. So they were going through all these kind of issues, and then I think one of their other programs was going through some kind of issues, or swimming, or something in tennis, something like that was going through some, not race, but like money or some kind of scandal issue. So they fired their athletic director a couple months ago. They hired their athletic director last week, and then the day he was hired, he hired Lovie Smith. So like he came in there with a plan, and I'm not saying his plan was to come in there and be like, "Hey, we're hiring a black coach."
They want to make a splash.
Between Chicago, his name Lovie Smith in Chicago, his name Lovie Smith in general, all across college football, and going through the scandals there, and it shows some kind of stability. that their athletic director can come in day one, brand new guy, and hire a name like Lovie Smith. That's a heavy hitter. So on the flip end, I'm with you. It's kind of like, oh, what you're doing is bringing the black guy in. But at the same time, there is a lot of things to back it up. There is credentials, and the way he did it, it was impactful and powerful. And I think it sent a message like, hey,
it brings attention to the team.
We're going, yeah, exactly, and we're going to run things differently than things were going before I was here. This is, you know what I mean. And now Lovie Smith is going to take over. Hey, you have somebody who you at least.
So it's a statement
across the board. People think is stable. Yeah,
He's making a statement.
Yeah,
I can't argue it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, alright, so moving on to basketball. Now this was a little more relevant last week, but it's still,
sad.
You know, you'll bring up how bad their record is in the NBA. Oklahoma City, the Thunder, Billy Donovan's team.
Sonics?
Oh.
Supersonics?
Talk about not being well run from the top down. They're going through some issues in ownership at the moment. That's kind of resolved itself, but...
They're a bunch of fucks.
So it goes down to the bottom. My thing is, if there was a week where, hypothetically, Steph Curry pulls up from the Cavs logo, hits a three, just pulls up from the logo, hits a three to win the game, and LeBron fouls out in that game, and it was overtime, and then the very next game against, the Clippers, he, with only a couple seconds left, after they were up 25...
Wait, you keep saying it wasn't LeBron, it was Kevin Durant.
No, stop. Listen, just follow me. I understand. No. I know it was Kevin Durant. Just follow me. Just imagine if this was LeBron. Just imagine.
Oh, you're saying...
okay, let's reverse this. Just imagine if this was LeBron and Steph Curry pulls up on a Saturday night from the Cavs logo and hits a three. Just pulls up from way behind, just hits a three, and LeBron, hypothetically, this is if and LeBron fouls out of the game in an overtime game. The next game they play, say it's against the Clippers, and LeBron, his team's up 25 points and going into halftime, and with only a couple seconds left, they're still in it, and he bounces the ball off his foot and goes out of bounds. And then after the game, LeBron looks right into a camera and says, "We need to be more disciplined." Now, imagine how the world would react to those two things in general, and then those comments. Be pretty bright. He'd be getting killed. Just absolutely ran over for a couple days.
As he should, because he's a chosen one. He's the king.
Well, now let's not be hypothetical. Let's wonder why Kevin Durant did all of those things, and it's just
not
like...
the chosen one. He's not the king.
He was supposed to take over for him. Now I understand that's Steph Curry, but... Why isn't Kevin Durant treated like a superstar? What has he done to get a pass, to blame the media for everything, to not come up big at any point in his career, and then just literally get away with... LeBron's called unclutch all the time, and he brings that upon himself. He misses so many shots at the end of games, and I get that. But, what is Kevin Durant doing out here to deserve the just... let's leap over him, and how his team is very close every year, but just not good enough. And that might be the people around him, and I understand that. But let me put it this way. Yeah. LeBron picks up and leaves an unstable Cavaliers team and says it's because they're not putting people around him. If Kevin Durant picks up and leaves an unstable Thunder team, people are going to literally say, their franchise is unstable and good for him. No one's going to be angry at him for picking up.
I have the answer. It's a very simple answer.
Because he's not from there?
Well, yes, but no, I haven't even... Well, no, that's the more simple answer, but another answer is he's not the chosen one. He's not the heir apparent of Jordan.
But Steph Curry, there's going to be a point where people turn on Steph Curry, right? And
man, I don't know.
This is what we do with athletes. We build them up really, really high, and we chop them down really, really low.
No. Like I said last week, people love Steph. They love his personality. They love his father. They love his daughter. I don't see
people pick people up and they chop them down. The second they can, they start chopping people down.
LeBron was kind of loved and hated from the gate, and it just escalated more so on the hate side when he.
I'm saying just in general, our athletes.
LeBron got the escalated hate when he left Cleveland the first time. No, I said the first time because he might be leaving the second time at this rate. But Steph, he's so good, clean, and wholesome. He's like you and I. He's quiet.
While I hear you, I'm not
nobody's gonna hate him. But
I'm on the other side of just thinking that I've seen it happen way too many times. Athletes get pulled up to the top and then just get absolutely ripped out from underneath. But
I don't honestly in the foreseeable future. I don't see it with Steph. I think he is the poster boy for everything that's right with the NBA.
This way.
But going back to Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
going back to Kevin Durant, why does he get a pass other than the fact that I think that it's because he's not the chosen one? I don't know. But it's a great... Is it
because he plays in Oklahoma City?
Possibly. I mean, it's a solid point on your end, and I will acknowledge that because, it's worth mentioning. Like, why does he get a pass? Why do people not get on him?
He's supposed to be in a top 5 player. He's supposed to be a top 5 player.
Because I don't think it's necessarily just him. Like, the team in general, they're a bunch of fucks. Like, there's nothing there. There's him and Russ, and they've never, even when they had Scott Brooks, which Scott Brooks is laughing his ass off right now. He's like,
it wasn't me.
Clearly, and
I didn't do it in the shower.
Didn't we say that at the start of the season?
Yeah, that I don't think it was his fault. It's a player-run league.
Right. Well, 1 and 2, we said that wasn't him.
No, right.
Because they have nothing else. But
yeah,
the biggest mistake that Oklahoma City has made, as much as I fucking hate this dude, as much as I think he's a bum, the worst decision that they made was getting rid of James Harden. Because they don't have another alpha.
They didn't think at that time. Yeah, I agree with you.
They got Russ and they got KD, and that's the tandem. And everybody says, and it goes without question, is that they more so just go, okay, you get the ball for 5 minutes, I get the ball. Okay, you don't gotta look, give it to me. Okay, I don't gotta look, I'm gonna give it to you.
Yep.
Who's number 3?
Everyone's just kind of running around in circles underneath them.
No, they don't run. No, they don't run. They
just
stand
there and watch. Yeah.
It's so cliche to say that, but if you. It's so simple to just
but
watch
they thought at that time that they
watch them for 10 minutes and tell me that they have a game plan other than give it to you, give it to me.
They thought they needed someone big. They thought they needed to get rid of James Harden, get some big guys, and then ends up they're missing that piece of the puzzle that he pushed them forward when the other two weren't putting buckets in.
And as much as I can't stand James Harden, I think he's overrated, especially
James Harden. I like him as a defensive player.
I will give him a credit from the perspective that he was that alpha, that he would come off the bench from OKC and say, you know what, you guys sit down, take a breather.
Points. Yeah.
They don't have anything, even a quarter of what James Harden was putting up.
No, I agree.
Who's the third option? Is it Ibaka? No. I can't even name another player. They got rid of Kevin Martin, didn't they?
Yeah.
Who's the other? God, this is how bad. Like, I can't name another player right now. Can you?
No.
I didn't think so. No. My point. There's nobody on that team.
Oklahoma City Thunder games too.
And that's well, touche, and neither do I. But point being, this year is critical.
Russ. KD's alright to watch, but he's just a better version of Melo. I watched enough Melo's career.
At this point, it's critical because this is the year that KD contract gets up.
Yeah, right. But he's gonna go somewhere and get max money next year.
So KC's fucked.
Yeah, and then Russ is gonna leave the next year and go get max money somewhere as well. And then they're gonna have to figure out how to draft people. They're gonna have to go to the bottom of the barrel.
And we'll go back to Seattle.
Basically, they're gonna have to go back to being number 1 pick overall. Oh, they're gonna have to pick somebody like a KD.
What a waste.
Well, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Can you imagine 3 years into that run, they were in the finals against LeBron?
It's horrible. Anyway.
What about Golden State? We were talking about the Warriors. We were talking about Steph in general. 45-0 at home on their floor. But they were having...
They lost to the best team in the NBA?
Did they lose themselves in practice? Or practice? We're talking about practice? Oh, you're talking about that game, that 1 o'clock start.
Is the best thing?
That 1 o'clock start in LA. You're talking about that game on a Sunday.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that 1 o'clock start.
Where they probably went out.
Wait, time out.
1 o'clock in the afternoon. No, stop.
No, you stop, time out. Don't give me this 1 o'clock in LA.
Well, it's 3 o'clock here, that's why I know it was 1 o'clock there. Or no.
Well, that's cool.
Noon there then.
They're on the West Coast too, bro. It doesn't matter.
No, I know that. No, I wasn't saying their time sleeping.
So where are you going?
I'm saying they went to bed at 3 a.m. West Coast time because they were all out partying because they were in LA. They were I guarantee you they were out the club. When a minute 45 went down 16, Steph was probably like, y'all remember that last dance we were doing as a team? He was probably, you know what I mean? Like he was probably talking about how they ordered too many bottles of champagne at the club or something the night before.
Okay.
I went to an NBA game this year, unfortunately, and I saw how sluggish the players were and how much they didn't care. It was a noon start in Philadelphia, and it was miserable. It was the Nuggets and the Sixers, and you could tell the Nuggets players had zero interest at being there at all. Like, zero interest at being there at all. This happens with the Warriors. They almost lost to Philly because they just didn't care. I do think that they were probably out partying in LA the night before. I think it's more that LA came out. They had a great... their point guard was balling. He was balling his face off at times.
Russ?
Yeah, he was balling his face off at times. the amount of turnovers the Warriors were just throwing the ball all over. So I think that was I think that was partially their fault. I don't think there's no blueprint. I don't think the Lakers pulled some blueprint out of there, to try to beat them. That was more, I think, the Warriors just throwing the ball around.
Stephen Clay's shot, it was like 2 and...
And that was the next thing I was going to say,
18?
Yeah. I mean, when
I don't remember the exact number,
when that happens, they apparently can't even beat the Lakers.
And you know what? I'm not going to be a Philadelphia fan to just say, you know what? No, that's our team. No, it was a fluke. And I acknowledge that and I accept that.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be a typical Philadelphia fan.
What happened in Philadelphia was they fell asleep in the second half. They were up 22 on the Sixers at halftime.
Go ahead. Yeah, keep hyping them up because you're a Philadelphia fan.
No, the Golden State was up 22 on the Sixers at halftime, and the Sixers somehow only lost by like 4. That was just the same exact situation.
But what I'm saying...
You get mad. I was agreeing with you. I was saying that you're right about the Lakers and the Sixers were doing the same exact thing.
No.
What you mean?
No.
You think that the Warriors fell asleep, right?
Because of
the Sixers didn't make no game.
Because of the Eagles conversation we just had, I know that you would be defending how great Philly is, and they got these big men, and they're gonna be dominant for years to come.
They were beating up. They were beating up on players that literally only played 6 games this year.
This is how you are with your teams.
This is how you are with your team. Like the fourth man on their fourth center or something like that.
Convenience is convenient when it's convenient.
Are they going to be good in the future? Absolutely. But were they doing it against the Clay? No. Were they doing it against the 2016 Warriors? Absolutely not. They were doing it against the bench of the 2016 Warriors.
Convenience is convenient when it's convenient. Anyway, I'm not going to pretend that this was a big deal because it wasn't.
Don't even make any sense. Keep going.
It makes a lot of sense.
No,
you will defend Philadelphia when you feel that it's appropriate.
When we came on the show the day after, I said, or the week after, what did I say about that Sixers game? They were down like 22 at halftime, and that was just the Golden State falling asleep, and Steph not even playing any of the third quarter.
What did you say about Kiko Alonso? That you were defending him up until the point that you got rid of him.
I defended him when they got rid of him. I said that he is a good player, and I wish they would have kept him. I wanted them to keep him. I said that the Eagles are going to justify it because they have so many linebackers. Did I not say, I can't wait till you watch it. I said I would have kept him. I wish they would have kept him. I like Kiko Alonso. I like Kiko Alonso. I said it earlier. He's a great talent. He was one of the best talents they had.
No, it's all about the money.
Yes, it is all about the money. Unfortunately, they didn't get rid of Kiko because of the money. They got rid of Kiko to try to prove a point to Chip Kelly. The rest of them.
But then they're a bunch of thoughts.
Yeah, I told you that earlier. I completely agreed with you on that. Why do you keep arguing with me on these things? I completely agree with you. I was right. I think Howie Roseman is a dick for doing shit like that. I admit it all the time. I can't stand Howie Roseman because I think he's petty. I think he's childish. He does things like that. He got literally into a fight with Chip Kelly in a meeting room. They got into a fight. Like the two of them were childish if that's what happened. But Howie Roseman mainly because this is the kind of stuff he does. And he never built a contender, so I have no clue if he can. I didn't like handing him the complaint reins as the football control operation guy. I think they need to get some people in there. If he's good with salary cap, great. They got to get some people in there that are on the other side of talent as well, though. That's as much of it as anything. I'm with you on the talent side, but I'm telling you the way that they look at it is money. Unfortunately, if that's good or bad, that's how everything's looked at nowadays, though. That's how the NBA's looked at. That's the reason. Do you know why the NBA is opening up $50 million? Because the teams who are really good with money right now are complete. Like, look at the Spurs. The Spurs know how to control their money better than anybody else. That's why they're always consistently in it. Who's a team that's never in it? Like Orlando, outside of Dwight. Okay, but that's fine. Yes, Philadelphia. They've never. This is the first time they've been green getting money in return instead of just wasting money. Like what I'm saying is, because of Iverson mainly, I will say that. But through the 90s and 2000s, their portion of money spent on X amount of players was too much on too little of a number. You know what I'm saying? Now they're not spending their money incompletely, so now it just looks completely lopsided. In contrast.
So look at the Tennessee Titans right now.
Right, I agree with that. And in their mind, just like the Tennessee Titans, if the Tennessee Titans are legit and if the Sixers are legit with moving their plans forward, what their mind is now they have so much money plus this young talent that they can try to build around and pay the young talent. Whether that happens moving forward or not, I don't know. But that is yes. And you're right. The argument you made for the Tennessee Titans is the exact argument I'm trying to make for you for the Sixers for like 3 years. That is the plan. Will it happen? You think that it won't happen in Philadelphia because why do you think it will happen in Tennessee? Tennessee is a worse run organization.
I didn't say it wouldn't happen. I'm saying that right now, today, on paper, they have a much better they have a brighter future, in my opinion, right now because of the quarterback and running back situation. Philadelphia, in my opinion, they don't have any type of future because, one, they get rid of what works. There was talks before the trade deadline they were going to get rid of what's his name, Okafor.
Yeah, they feel like they feel like they have to get rid of Noel or Okafor.
Okay.
Well, they have 3 other big guys coming in, so they're gonna have to either trade Embiid or Sargic. I think they're gonna have to trade Embiid or Sargic anyways. But I don't know. I have no clue if that's gonna happen.
I want to ask you this question,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to ask it objectively, even if I think I know the answer. Because the rumor was they were going to get rid of Okafor before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That they were. The rumor was they were shopping him at. It wasn't like a story like a Dwight Howard getting traded, but it was a little footnote I heard. If they would have got rid of Okafor at this stage in his career and in the stage of the Philadelphia 76ers, would you have been okay with it?
Would I have been okay with it?
Ignore the money. From a Philadelphia 76ers fan,
I look at it on this end.
because to me, you keep fucking Okafor. What? Why?
Well, they feel like on the court wise, they feel like playing wise, no talent wise, they feel like you can't get Okafor and Noel on the court at the same time. So they feel like they have to trade one of them.
Because everything that you tell me is that, oh, we got all these bigs, we can put them on the floor.
No, I would like to see them on the floor. The Sixers management.
Okay, no, I don't give a fuck what the manager feels. I'm saying what you feel.
Oh.
So you feel like they should put them on the floor.
If I'm playing 2K, yeah, I can play them on the floor.
No,
But my
you can have a center, you can have a power forward. So why can't you do that?
Because apparently neither of them are. I think Noel is trying to transition to a power forward. He hit a 3 the other night, and he's starting to move.
So he wants to be a spare power forward.
Yeah, but. Okay, but in their mindset, he is a center. He is a true center, and they are afraid if they move him, he won't be as valuable or as good. Now, if you're telling me if they have to trade one of them, I would rather them trade Okafor because I don't think Okafor will ever develop on the defensive end. He might be able to score 25 or 26 a night, but here's my thing: Dwight Howard, man. Dwight Howard was dominant defensively. Dwight Howard has always been really good offensively, right? He can score 28 and 20 ever, but he is Dwight Howard on the other end of the floor, where Dwight Howard is really good defensively, but put no effort in offensively. Okafor is really good offensively, but put zero in effort in defensively. Not saying he can't learn it. But I think if I had to pick one, I would rather Noel because of how good he is defensively and because he is progressing at a much better rate than I expected. But if you're talking offensive talent, Okafor is a better guy. Also, the reason I would keep Noel is because if going forward, the NBA, for the most part, you would agree with this, the centers are leaving, right? Well, Okafor, okay, but for the most part, I'm not saying they're all out of the game, but I mean, look around, there's very little true centers in this league right now that could play center 10 years ago. Okafor legitimately could play center 10 years ago. The NBA is going in a different direction. So, to be honest with you, while Okafor might be the better overall talent and the better basketball player, I think that Noel is transitioning forward, and if he can play more like, who's the guy out in Golden State who passes the ball like crazy and he thinks he's a shooter now, but he's not.
Big man?
Yeah, he was going off on Draymond Green. If he can end up, I'm not saying that Noel will be like Draymond Green, but I'm saying if he can more control the ball and throw the ball. Right, but my point is if he can control the ball down low, pass the ball out a little bit, and have an inside low game, I think it just makes him more valuable because of how good he is defensively. Do you know what I mean? So, like, would I have been okay with him getting rid of Okafor this year? No, because honestly, if you're going to trade Okafor, the other end of this is let him go ball out for an entire rookie season. Let him look good partially way through next year. And if you're going to trade him, do it next year at the deadline because you're going to get a lot more next year than you will this year as long as he stays healthy and doesn't get in trouble off the court. That's another thing is that they feel like they're babysitting him. So as an organization, I think they're just ready to get rid of him. Well, no. Now, Dallas did the right thing.
They're babysitting their entire team right now. They're a bunch of kids.
I hear you on that, but they've, like, you know how Dallas hired a security team to follow Dez around for a little bit, and it turned out really well, and Dez ended up being, look at how great he is. Right. I mean, and not saying the Sixers don't feel that couldn't happen, but I think in the Sixers' mind right now.
He's nowhere near on Dez's level. As far as, like.
Right, and that's in there. Well,
being a fuck. He
was going over the bridge at 100 miles an hour, and he beat some guy up outside of a bar. He's 18. He was 19 years old in a bar. What was he doing in a bar? In their mind, they feel like he's going down the Des Bryant path, so they hired a security team around him. But I also think in their mind, he's the more headache. The upside for Noel is better for the future of the NBA.
Why did you drive him?
Huh?
Why did you drive him?
Why did they draft him? Here's my theory on the NFL. Here's my theory on the NFL draft, and I don't know if it necessarily applies in the NBA draft because of you're in the situation where the Sixers have 4 big men because it's such a smaller team. So in the NFL, to me, you draft the best player available, not the position you need. Okay, I think that is the better thing. But you also have a 53-man roster. You can go pick up that position you need somewhere else. In the NBA, it is a much smaller roster, and the percentages are a little different. So if you end up with 6 big men over a period of time, a la the Sixers right now, who were all drafted in the top 10, they have 4 big men right now who are drafted in the top 10. They literally are going to have to get rid of 2 of them, if not 3 of them. Right? Is that the best move? I don't know.
But you know what I love about you, and I also hate about you?
Huh. That makes sense.
No. You play both sides of the coin because
I understand it. No, because I'm not biased.
Yes, you are. 1, 2.
Well, no. I'm biased in who I root for, but I'm not. I can see both sides. I can see both ends of every stick.
That is the most annoying thing about you because you can flip it. As far as like if this is what annoys me about you.
What I want to happen and what could happen are 2 different things at all times. And I explain what could happen, not what I want to happen.
This is what annoys me about you as a Philadelphia fan because you can flip it in regards to what's working in a given situation. Like if it's working this way, you go with this way. But if it's not working this way, you can flip it and say, oh well, no, because it works this way, and it should go this way. This is how you are, and this is
no. I told you. I'm telling you what you just did with the Eagles. I told you what I want them to do by getting. If they have to get rid of somebody, I'd rather them get rid of Noel. Mm. But if they get rid of, but when it comes to the day where it happens, then we'll talk about it. Hey,
I can't deal with Philadelphia fans.
Okay, UFC. So the fights over the weekend.
196.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh yes, watched him. I got to see the 2 main events. That's all I saw from it. But it was.
That's all you needed to see. Well, I mean, I forget the.
I don't watch it all that enough. I follow it because everybody else is now. It is part of the sports world. I think it has become legitimate.
Yeah.
Almost not every fight because most of the ones I don't watch, but anytime McGregor or
the bigger ones.
Right, Holmes was in this one, so and everyone's gonna watch Miesha Tate. Everyone's gonna watch Holmes. Everyone's gonna watch Tate and Rousey because now that's gonna be the fight, right?
Okay.
Or does Holmes and Rousey fight?
Okay. Let me start with McGregor because for me personally, he's the lesser of the 2 because I'm more so invested, as you know.
Right, Rousey.
In the female division, and to me, and it's called the bantamweight division. To me, it's a lot more interesting. Yeah. Especially now.
Yeah, it got really interesting.
Yeah, but I mean McGregor. So he gets choked out, as you saw the world scene at this point, and man, they were just brawling out. They just beat the hell out of each other. But McGregor, he was taking an ass beating. Yeah. And fair enough, Nate Diaz, he only had like a week's notice, week and a half, tops.
Handled himself.
Good for him for being prepared, number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, a lot of people, of course, are bringing up the fact that McGregor, he's a shit talker. Yeah. He talks a lot of trash. Yeah. He's very open. He doesn't give a shit. No. And he just speaks his mind, but he backs it up. And as I've told you before, I'm cool with shit talk as long as you're able to back it up. And for the most part, McGregor has been able to do that. Yeah. And even in this fight, I mean, he was holding his own.
For a while, yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh,
they got to the ground, it was over, but...
Right, but, I mean, it happens, but... Yeah. A lot of people, this is what I was getting at, the backlash of him losing has been, well, he's been of course, the humble thing.
That's the best.
Because he talks so much shit and he deserves this. Yeah, but did you see the statement he came out with after he lost? Uh-huh. He came out, he basically said, you know what, I respect you, Diaz, good for you, you did your thing, I'm not gonna, he basically was like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
You beat me.
You beat me, good for you, I'm still gonna be me, basically. Yeah. Like, I'm paraphrasing.
As he should be.
I'm paraphrasing, basically he was like, congratulations, I'm still gonna be me, I'm not gonna change, I'll see you another time. That's basically what he said. The last thing he said was, I'll see you again.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for him.
Right, absolutely.
Step up and go back in it.
Man, you want to talk about a shocker.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, but I didn't expect the one before it either.
Which to me was a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Because I said, with all due respect to Miesha Tate, that she was going to get knocked out to Holly Holm.
It's very interesting how that happened.
Oh my God. Knocked out. Okay, so, as much as and people have come at me and they've said, why are you giving Miesha Tate any type of credit because she's Ronda Rousey's biggest rival, which I understand, and I agree, because she is Ronda's biggest rival, and other than Kat, what the fuck's her name? Sagano? Remember that girl? She was talking the biggest shit.
I remember what you're talking about, yeah.
what was her name?
Rousey beat the heck out of her last.
Yeah. Other than Kat, Miesha Tate was the biggest trash talker. But unlike Kat, Miesha was able to back it up. She was the first woman outside of Holly to take Ronda out of the first round.
Yep.
She took Ronda into the third round both times they fought.
Yeah.
But she lost.
Right.
So, I call it the Jordan aspect. Like I tweeted when I was watching the fight. I called it the Jordan aspect as far as like Miesha was like Gary Payton or like the Utah Jazz or like those people that would go up against Jordan but could never beat him. They could beat everybody else convincingly, but they couldn't beat the best.
Right.
To me, that was Miesha. She could have beat Ronda, and to me, I didn't think she was going to beat Holly Holm.
She did.
It was the last round. It was funny because the start of the final round, I said Miesha's either going to have to choke her out or knock her out.
Right.
And that's exactly what she did.
Yeah.
To her credit, Miesha Tate...
I agree with that, though, because I thought it was going to
go
the other way.
What was crazy is that I felt like... It was either the second or the third round. I felt like Miesha won that round convincingly. There was one point where she got Holly Holm on the ground, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Holly was able to get out of it, and then the round ended. But to Miesha's credit, and even with Ronda, if I put my bias on the side, as much as I love Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, she holds her own, and she picks her spots. And that's what I tweeted out on our official JD Sports Twitter, was that with Holm, especially in the first round, she played her strength, which was she was more defensive, and the biggest mistake that Ronda made facing Holly Holm was like she went head on.
Right. Yeah.
And was a strategic call. She just went straight on, and
that
was her biggest mistake.
Yes.
To Miesha's credit, as much as I don't like her,
she bounced around.
Right, and she more so, she's a reactor. Like she reacts to what's going on, and then she counterreacts.
She didn't go right into it full head of steam.
Right, and that's why she was able to get Holly on the ground. Mm-hmm. She was able to get on her back at one point, and she was able to choke her out. And immediately, as soon as she got on her back, I said, if she locks it, it's over. And immediately locked it and over. And to her credit, hey, like I said, congratulations to Miesha Tate. I thought you were going to get knocked out, but to her credit, and like I'm saying right now, she is very... To Miesha's credit, she's more methodical when she's fighting. Like, she's more so... She's forward thinking with her fights. Yeah. Ronda's more so get in there,
strategic,
knock it out.
Ronda's not. Yeah, Ronda's just boom, 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 let's go.
Right. Ronda's more so Tyson. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
Miesha, she's more so, let me see what's going on, and
Floyd did that throughout his career.
Right. So, and...
Defensive.
What does that say about Holly Holm, though? Because everybody was saying, oh, Holly Holm, she's the next great thing.
But she handled her business and literally until that last part. And then when she was on the ground... I want to give her credit for she didn't tap out.
Absolutely.
She had to get knocked out.
She was.
She said she had to go. She said to herself, "I have to go out. If I'm going out, I got to go out." And she did. She didn't tap out. She didn't.
No. You know what's crazy is that if you watch the clip back, it looks like Holly was tapping out, but she at that point.
I think she was trying to keep going. She just couldn't do it. She literally, her body was just done. At
that point, I think she blacked out. She more so was like reaching, like trying to
finish it, but she had no strength. Yeah,
and the ref called it. Hey,
good for her though. Like good,
but
not good for her for having good. I give her a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely. It went to the final round, which was the 5th round. That's incredible. Especially in the women's division.
Yeah.
At that weight, it's incredible. But now it makes it a hell of a lot more interesting because everybody said for months and years that it was Ronda and everybody else. But then it became Ronda and Holly Holm. Well, now it's Ronda, Holly, Miesha Tate.
And who knows what could be next.
So
after those three fighting, somebody else could jump into that.
Oh, yeah. I wish... Damn it, I wanted that name before we started the show, but... Earlier in the show, there was another girl, and she's like number 4, and they showed the standings, but she was number 4 in that list, and she won earlier in the night, and I was like, ooh, okay.
She could walk herself in there, maybe. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's a lot more open than what. It's a lot more open. It's a lot more competitive than what people were saying.
Yeah. Just even 6 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we got a situation where we got
3 different belt holders.
We got a 3-way right now.
3 different belt holders in the last 6 months.
In a perfect world, like you were saying, I feel like it needs to be Ronda versus Holm for the number 1 contendership.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You know what? Just go.
They should.
Just go to pro wrestling route.
Yes,
do
I agree.
Ronda versus Holm, number 1 contendership.
Yeah.
And then you go forward and do the championship bout.
Yeah.
versus Miesha Tate.
Yep.
If she still has it.
I agree.
You have to do that.
Yeah. And
but
let her fight
of course,
somewhere along the line too, if you would like. Let her fight somewhere along the line.
Right. I said when Ronda lost about the first time, I said the best thing that could happen to Dana White and the UFC would be that Holly Holmes holds the title and that he gets the rematch with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen right now. But now what he needs to bank on is Ronda versus Holmes.
Yes.
In the number one contendership fight.
Yeah. I agree. That would be the best route, I think.
It opens it up so much more.
But I think they're going to do a rematch of of Holm and Tate and
maybe. I mean, that's what.
But that leaves Ronda out. But then Ronda maybe I think maybe then have Ronda fight somebody, and then the winner of that fights the winner of the title shot.
That's what annoys me about Dana White, because Dana White he came out immediately and said Ronda she's the number one contender.
Yeah.
Like, why?
How does that just... Yeah. I agree.
As much as I love Ronda,
I
don't agree with that. Like, you gotta have this number one contendership now. And if Holly beats Ronda, then good for you, Holly.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I agree. Let him fight again then, yes.
Cool.
Ronda has route. That's the best route.
There's been 2 fights with Ronda and Miesha, and Ronda won both of them. That doesn't mean that Ronda's automatically number one contender, because Holly beat Ronda. So I mean, you gotta have that. You gotta have that matchup.
There's a mix going on. Yeah, let them do it again.
And like I said, the girl, I wish I remembered her name, but the girl that fought earlier on the card, she's also in that weight. Yeah. She very well might be. She's number 4 right now. It's very interesting. To me, it's a lot more interesting than the men's division right now, and regardless of what the weight is. Ah, man, it's an exciting time. But overall, UFC 196, it was for me, it was very enjoyable. Yeah. Like it was incredible. Both the title matches
they were good. They were very
absolutely good. They both went down to the last round. They both no.
The other one went to the second round, right? Third round.
They both went down to a submission.
Yeah.
A choke out. It's
incredible. They were both very entertaining fights.
Incredible. Side note, really quick. We talked about the Lakers earlier.
Yeah.
Do you know if you would have put $100 bet?
Yeah, I heard this.
On the Lakers. No, just $100.
Okay.
On the Lakers, Miesha Tate, and Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
If you would have bet $100 on those 3 to win, you'd have won $30,000.
It's crazy, but yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Money.
But nobody would have done that. Nobody would have done that. Nobody even thought of that.
I was gambling, man. I'm not an expert, Ernie.
Nobody would have thought of that. Did you pick the other way in both fights?
No, I went with what was obvious, which was the.
That's what I mean. So you went with the 2 champions winning?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. Right there. You wouldn't have
I mean, okay, out of the 3.
No, I wouldn't have won the bet. I would go on all 3 of them.
Out of the 3, I would say.
I would have lost all three of those.
If I want to try to be objective, maybe 2 out of the 3. Maybe. And that's a very small maybe.
Yeah.
Very small.
No way.
But the 3 out of 3, there's no way in hell.
It's incredible.
Shout out to you if you did it.
Yeah, right? Well, thank you for watching JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield.
Omaha.